He is a candle in the dark, the wind beneath our wings, the destroyer of worlds and savior of ours, the secret fourth piece of the erroneous Trinity processor. He is everybody's favorite blade in Xenoblade 2, Godfrey. But Nara, Godfrey is the worst blade in the game. Common blades are actually pretty good, as opposed to Godfrey. Who is everyone's least favorite blade? Mine is Godfrey because he just sucks. Godfrey is just the worst. The absolute worst. Why is Godfrey a bad rare? I never used him because his face looks dumb. Your face looks dumb, idiot! Who cares about the bottom of a silly tier list when he's at the top of the Blade album? Executive Director Tetsuya Takahashi himself ensured that Godfrey directly follows the mandatory blades, alluding to the fact that while he may be optional, he is indispensable. Well, don't worry, Takahashi-san, we're about to take your vision to another level. You might have been impressed by Enel's Common Blade challenge, but how about one with a much worse player and a blade you naysayers would also deem inferior? How about we finally answer the question that's been begging to be asked? Can you beat Xenoblade 2 with Godfrey only? And I do mean only, because it doesn't matter if we never swap to another blade. Merely having them equipped is beneficial to the party. So of course, that means the first step to this challenge is to remove No, we cannot beat Xenoblade 2 with only Godfrey. Hold on a sec, for the sake of that dreamy smile, I think we should compromise here. We can remove Pyra by playing on New Game Plus, but that would result in a number of other advantages. So while it isn't a perfect solution, it's actually more fair to leave Pyra on in a fresh save file with default settings. And if you want more semantics to argue over, the game won't let us remove the other party members until Chapter 4. In order to minimize their impact, we'll be making sure to interact with them as little as possible, so no intentional health potions and no revivals, period. With that, let us commence the real first step of the challenge, the gacha. Godfrey is a rare blade that can only be obtained from the gacha pool, which cannot be accessed until Chapter 2. Thankfully, we've already come up with an infallible plan. DLC! For the low payments of $29.99, we can receive a plethora of rewards, such as a 20-hour story expansion, and more importantly, an abundance of core crystals for the sole purpose of summoning our hero. It's fine. But yeah, hopefully we get Godfrey soon. I'm just gonna skip the awakening so we don't have to waste too much time. The man, the myth, the legend is here, and this pesky Crabble has the misfortune of being his first fight. And, a fight it is. It takes a little bit longer than expected. Look, even the Paragon of Justice needs to warm up, which is surprisingly easy for an Ice Blade. Using a love source from the DLC, his affinity charts can reach level 3 instantaneously. Most of its objectives are so simple, they'll be cleared as we naturally play the game. The only exception at the moment is defeating Volfs and Gormots, so let's be sure to get that done before our journey gets serious. Maybe I can lure this guy. How do you lure? I never lure in any of the games. Okay. Wait. That guy's coming. Wait. We're good. Oh! We're not good! Juice. Okay, we can't expect a primate to have the intelligence to show some respect. But the Arganian army, though? Oh, who could forget their massive craniums? Oh, see, this guy doesn't even want to fight! This guy knows Godfrey is too strong! Wow. We're already intimidating the Ardanian army. No! As expected of a blade of Godfrey's caliber, Chapter 2 goes off without a hitch, so now's a good time to cover our general strategy. Godfrey wields a shield hammer, a weapon class that is considered terrible due to its low DPS and slow animations, even when compared to fellow tanks. We can at least mitigate the latter by canceling auto attacks, but yeah, that damage do be kinda low. And since we're neglecting our party members, we're unable to feast on the bread and butter of the game, combos. We can't finish a blade combo with the ice elements alone, and without a break art, a driver combo can't be started at all. Sheesh, no combos, low DPS, it's like I'm barely playing the game. Next thing you'll know, I'll whine on Reddit about the combat being slow. But don't fret, we're not talking about any ice elemental shield hammer. Godfrey is an individual with potent characteristics. His blade arts are not great, but look at his blade specials. While we can't topple for level 2's effect, 1 and 3 are going to be our strongest forms of damage. Tough Break is the most reliable since, as a tank, we'll always be targeted. And while Justice Blizzard sounds precarious, 30% HP is going to be a bit of a theme here. As for his battle skills, Fierce Fervor raises his DPS against higher level opponents. What can I say, Godfrey just loves being an underdog, he's such a humble guy. Besides, it wouldn't be a challenge if we just level grinded forever, so in honor of the Trinity Processor, we are forbidden to be more than 4 levels above the current boss fights. And then there's Got the Guts and Light of Justice, the former raising our defense while the latter is healing, but both only apply at 30% HP or lower. You could say that this 30% theme is redundant, if not outright contradictory. Do we want to be at 30% or not? But how could you blame Godfrey for living on the edge? It's all about the thrill of the fight. And we are allowed to experience that thrill thanks to the Iron Wall. Seriously, forget about the other driver arts. Iron Wall single-handedly rounds out Godfrey's kit. Not only does it trivialize most attacks, it gradually heals us and recharges our other arts. This means we can steadily retain that mythical 30%, and most enemies simply cannot break through that. They have to keep hitting us during Iron Wall's cooldown, but thanks to Narsapear Jelly and Sparkle Sugar, that window of opportunity is very slim. All in all, this strategy is simultaneously easier and harder than expected. I didn't think we'd find such consistency this soon, but I promise it can be much harder to pull off than it looks. Learning the enemy's pattern is crucial, as the smallest mistake can equal death. And with how low our DPS is, there is unlimited time for mistakes. Take Van Damme and his mercs in Chapter 3 for instance. We may have beat them first try, but we had to earn it. Our strategy is much more suited for an isolated opponent. And yet, ironically, our first actual threat is the rampaging Arda. Turns out, if you prevent yourself from participating in a tutorial battle, then that battle suddenly becomes difficult. It went down to the wire. This is when I fully realized we'll always be one mistake away from losing. It didn't take long to prove me right. We take our first loss mere minutes later to the Elder Arachno. At least this is supposed to be challenging, and to be fair, we did much better than I thought we would. Level grinding would be boring, so let's get a little crafty. By upgrading Pyrrhus Focus and Poppy's Super Strength, neither requiring battle, we can open a barrel in Argentum for Insect Hunter 2. This is an Ox Core that increases damage to insects by 25%. One level higher, and we now have the DPS to obtain our revenge. Most notably, this is where we start to incorporate our special level 4. While it's not on the affinity chart, the level 4 animation grants us complete invulnerability. It's essentially a backup whenever Iron Wall is on cooldown or can't block enough damage. We even purchased a Cloud Snail Arpeggione to recharge specials faster because without level 4, this challenge would probably be impossible. Case in point, Akhos. He attacks at too fast of a rate for us to hide behind the wall, and whenever he topples or shackles Driver, we have no choice but to take his hits for free. Gee, it would have been so nice to participate in his tutorial, but this is worse than the rampaging Ardun because by losing to Akhos, we no longer start with the full party gauge his tutorial provides. It may not be as useful in this challenge, but it does serve as an extra safety net, and we need as many outs as we can get. The inevitable loss is our cue to take our equipment more seriously. We defeat a Nephta lizard for an Ox core named Outdoor Attack Up 1. Considering most boss fights are outdoors, that is going to be imperative. Accessory-wise, we're typically going to be rocking whatever gives us the highest HP and DPS at that moment. Our rematch with Akhos is an excellent demonstration of how stressful this challenge can be. Since we no longer have Sparkle Sugar, our wall has a slower cooldown, so when we're about to die, we have to resort to our special level 4 to survive. But nearly immediately after, Akhos forces our wall and keeps up the pressure so we barely get to heal. The heavens then bless us with dodging a topple and another chance at healing. We then level 4 to survive yet again, but this time the topple makes its mark. After the longest few seconds of our lives, we have no other outs. We have to attack in a last-ditch effort, but by the smallest fraction of his HP, we lose. So imagine that intense situation, except now it's the whole boss fight. That is the Godfrey only challenge. Tired of getting our butts kicked, we do a handful of side quests to level up twice, as well as receiving Affinity Max Attack 1. Along with Outdoor Attack, this will be a staple Ox core to give a much needed boost to our DPS. We then enter the most gorgeous area in the game to take on the most gorgeous man in the game, besides Godfrey. You know, Zeke and Godfrey do have a lot in common. They both stand for justice, and they both have dramatically long animations. Difference is, Zeke is incredibly strong, so it almost doesn't matter how choreographed his moves are. It took us 3 tries to beat him, with our special level 4 being the MVP. If you were thinking the next boss fight was the Violent Driver, then please cherish the time of your life where you forgot about this reservoir. This is one of the most annoying parts of the game, with his stupid Guyana harassing us and every nearby enemy. This is stupid. No way I took that much. What? Wait, he fell in the water!
Why not?
Let's go! Anyway, the Violent Driver is the calm before the storm, for I am sure many of you have been anticipating the Chapter 3 finale. And so have I. I made sure to level us up all the way to 24, because awaiting us is Akhos and Malos, one of the hardest encounters in the story, if not the hardest relative to the player's experience. We already had such a good time with Akhos by himself, so this'll go great! In my 3-hour-long video essay, I referred to this boss as the Gatekeeper, but in this run, that gate will only lead to Purgatory. For the uninitiated, this is not a complete fight. All we have to do is take down just half of one of their HP bars. And despite that, 3 attempts came and went, as we did not have the slightest chance at even dealing a quarter. Most players will be traumatized by Shackle Driver and Taunt. We've already witnessed the helplessness of Shackle, but Taunt is perhaps more intrusive. It briefly forces us to target Malos, the higher level and thus more dangerous of the two. What some players may not have noticed is the accessories that grants a 60% chance at resistance. Naturally, we give them a shot, and LOL, Ruffle LMAO, nice try, 60% may as well be 20. We somehow end up doing worse, dying over and over and over to the point I've lost count. Alright, fine, back to level grinding we go. Thanks to generous DLC quests, we make our way to level 26, and it's as if those levels meant absolutely nothing. No joke, we barely make a dent in them. Okay, I get it. So we accidentally find a better core chip on our hunt for more accessories, theory craft some more, level 27, and we almost make it halfway to halfway. Yeah, that definitely happened once. Sure, have at it. We're level 28 now. We grinded for arts chain so we can finally cancel arts, and we still cannot upgrade Godfrey's affinity chart. We've reached both the limits of Godfrey as well as our personal limit of 4 levels above Akhos. There's nowhere else to go. This is our last chance to put all of our efforts into this. And yet, the more things change, the more they stay the same. So why is this fight so brutal? Why aren't we making any progress? Where do I even begin? Akhos and Malos are too oppressive to tank through. Even if we get into a nice rhythm of walls, it's only a matter of time until they shackle or topple us, both of which completely disrupt our strategy. Not only do they hit hard, they're also absurdly fast. Their topples are especially abrupt. We're often just hoping we happen to wall at the right time. Their specials, though, are the most ridiculous of all. Malos can practically one-shot us with barely a chance to react. At least Akhos has the decency to give us time, but his range is so big he can shred the whole party. And then there's my biggest pet peeve. Malos's back attack up. This is the cherry on top. It's something that most players won't even notice, yet it makes taunt the least of my frustrations. The one weakness of Iron Wall is that we are stuck in place until it ends or we cancel it, and Malos loves to exploit that by aiming for our back. We cannot afford that additional damage, nor can we afford to reposition so often. We're stuck between a rock and a hard place. It's as if their movesets are deliberately anti-Godfrey. Go ahead, pick your poison. We tried so many combinations of the best equipment up to this point in the game, including DLC, but none of them ever felt good enough. The farthest we ever got was 25%, and considering they only get more difficult, I can't imagine doing any better. If it was just Akhos or Malos, this would easily be doable. If they couldn't shackle and topple, this would be hard, yet doable. Hell, if they were missing just one of their gajillion abilities, this would still be doable. And sure, theoretically, with a good mother-like patience and miraculous good luck, you could say it is indeed possible. But after 6 agonizing hours, I'll believe it when I see it. Godfrey cannot defeat Akhos and Malos. That's what I told myself when I went to bed that night. I had resigned myself to the fact that it was impossible. There was nothing left to prove. But then, I heard his voice.
Hey? I thought we were supposed to be fighting together. Here's our motto. The reason I fight is to protect my friends. You need to get fired up, you know? Like, woohoo!
He's right. All this time, I was so determined to prove the haters wrong that I lost sight of what we stood for. How can we beat Xenoblade 2 with only Godfrey when we had forgotten what it means to be Godfrey? Godfrey is a tank because of his desire to protect his friends, and so he wouldn't be as powerful as he is without friendship. This may have been a challenge to push ourselves to our very limits, but sometimes all it takes for us to be our best is to accept the hands reaching out to us. So this time, we know exactly where to go. We keep defeating Ignas until we obtain the highest rarity of hammer attachments, increasing our damage by 29%. We start the boss battle with a nearly completed party gauge, having sought out lentil milkshakes to help build up another party gauge. And most of all, we accept the hand of our friends, allowing ourselves another shot at never giving up. Even in the heat of battle, we know exactly where to go. Activate a special level 1 right before Shackle Driver kicks in, making us not as helpless as it appears. Try to balance aggro between us and Torna, ensuring that neither of us are taking too much damage. Save our chain attack for when any of us are about to die, otherwise their momentum will snowball right through us. We have dissected this battle down to a science, and all that's left to do is execute. No! Torna! Torna, please! No! No! Yes! Yes! Let's go! Let's go! Oh my God.
I must admit,
I cannot understate how mentally taxing this experience was. From start to finish, it took us 8 hours of preparation and attempts in order to sneak a win. And here's the thing, even though the average fight was still bad, it must genuinely be possible to win without reviving. We died a few moments before victory, so if we were playing a tad more aggressively, maybe we wouldn't have died at all. That being said, I have no regrets. In practice, realistically, we needed our friends to save the day. And what a way to go! Now that Chapter 4 has arrived, the training wheels are off. That may seem horrifying considering what we just went through, but remember, most fights would have played out the same without our other party members. And from here on out, there's going to be a lot more OP accessories and aux cores for us to exploit. The bottom line is, if we found a way to beat Akhos and Malos, then yes, I truly have faith that one day we will beat Xenoblade 2 with Godfrey only. But that's not the question, is it? The title of this video is Can You Beat Xenoblade 2 with Godfrey only? And that answer is no, you can't. You can't because you shouldn't. You shouldn't because you respect your own time and Godfrey respects you. He wouldn't want you to take on this challenge. He wouldn't put you through the pain and suffering that we just put ourselves through. So please, stay away from Godfrey as much as you can. Turn the other cheek and live your life, if not for your own sake, for his. After all, this challenge was never about asking what Godfrey can do for you. It was always about asking what you can do for Godfrey. To be continued someday, maybe.